Hi, thanks for watching today's video. I'm Just Design, and today we're going to be ranking some Breyer models. So I am actually in the process of making this video now. I'm screen recording my screen, and I have all of the traditional. So we have our tier list. If you haven't watched one of these videos, I'm gonna make it very, very simple for you. S tier is the best. E tier is the absolute worst. Okay, I would never buy this model even if it was given to me for free, basically. So the way that I'm gonna rank this is S tier is absolute grails. So the way that this works is there's S tier, A tier, B tier, D tier, and E tier. S tier is absolute grails, would do anything for these Breyers, would pay pretty much any amount of money for them if I had it, you know. And B tier is just beneath that. B tier is kind of like, I have these in my collection, but I don't always vibe with the model. C tier is neutral. It could go either way. D and E tier are, D tier is just like dislike, moderate dislike, and then E tier is absolutely not. And I honestly don't have a lot of models that I would put in absolute E tier. But there are a few in here, and I do have some strong opinions when it comes to Breyers. So the first horse we have is the Action Stock Horse Foal, and I have him pulled up on my screen over here. He has a lot of different colorways. He was sculpted by Chris Hess back in 1984. And he is okay, not great, not fantastic, not bad either, just C tier. So a C tier model is one that I feel it's not bad, it's not great, it's neutral. I don't really have an opinion on it. So if I put something in C tier, it's just because I don't have much of an opinion on it. Okay, the next horse we have Adios. Adios is the portrait model for a standardbred pacer. He was introduced in 1969 and was sculpted by Chris Hess. Again, I'm going to put him in C tier. Okay, the next model that we have is the Alcote mold. It was introduced back in 2020 for a Premier Collection model, and the Alcote mold was sculpted by Heather Polero. Again, really bad with names, guys. So I'm gonna put him in A tier. I love him. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna leave him in A tier for right now, and then we'll go up the list. Okay. The next horse we have is Alborozo, and Alborozo was a celebration model back in 2008. He was sculpted by Brigitte Abril. I'm so bad at names, guys. He was sculpted by Brigitte, and he was introduced in 2008. He has a lot of different colorways, but not a lot of horses on this mold, unfortunately. Mainly because the mold was destroyed after Breyer Fest. So that sucks. So people have really had a difficult time trying to find this mold, and this mold is really expensive. So I'm gonna say that this mold is an S tier mold, and I think everybody kind of agrees with this. It's such a rare find, it's hard to find, it's worth a lot, and the mold is pretty. I also love Alvaroso coloring. Such a pretty horse. Okay, the next horse we have is the Amazing Stallion. Picasso is also on this mold. He was introduced back in 2022 as part of the Breyers Premier Collection, was sculpted by Sarah Minnie Walsh. Man, I'm not even gonna try and pronounce these names. They're so bad, guys. They're so hard to pronounce. Yeah, so I'm gonna give him B tier. I like his mold, I think he's cute, but I don't have him in my collection yet. And I want him in my collection, but it isn't like I need him right now situation. Next we have Amber. Amber has many different colorways on her, and she was sculpted back in 1997 by Kathleen Moody. I think she's a cute little foal. And yeah, I think that she is a C tier. I really don't have an opinion on her, so we're gonna put her in C tier. The next horse we have is the American Saddlebred Stallion, and the American Saddlebred Stallion was sculpted back in 2000 and was sculpted by Kathleen Moody. And a lot of different colorways on this horse. Decorator molds on this horse, lots of different collectors models on this horse. I love this model. This model is gorgeous, and I really do think that it encapsulates the saddlebred very well. So yeah, I think we can put this model in A tier. The next horse that we have is the Andalusian Foal. The Andalusian Foal. This was a 2015 release back as part of the Premier Collection that Breyer does. Was sculpted by Brigitte Aberle. I know I'm saying that wrong. Someone's gonna be like, that's not how you say that. I'm trying, guys. I'm trying. Okay, so the original Premier Collection release was the amazing Hermoso in Corazon mold, and that was in 2015. They have a Premier Collection certificate of authenticity with them, and they were these little black and white folds in their set. Cute. Gonna put it in B tier. The Andalusian Mare as well is a cute mold, and I like the colorways. They did have a questionable special run back in 2020. I don't like that decorator, and I'll be straight up to say that. But the mold itself is actually really pretty, and I think customs do really well on this mold. So when it's painted right, I definitely see that it is a beautiful mold, and I'm gonna put it in B tier, right next to her foal. I think that it's a good B tier model. It's not quite A for me, just because the original finishes aren't quite there yet, but it's what it is. Next we have the Andalusian Stallion mold. This was introduced back in 2004, and I remember when this came out, I was obsessed. It was sculpted by Kathleen Moody. Obviously, Kathleen Moody fan. I love her sculpting work. I think she does amazing. And there was even unicorns introduced on this mold. And I think everybody can agree that we love a good unicorn. And also a lot of decorators on this mold, lots of colorways, just a really, really standard Breyer mold. I'm gonna put this one in S tier. I really love this mold. I wish I could conquer this mold. All right, the next horse we have is the Appaloosa Performance Horse. Now the Appaloosa Performance Horse was made back in 1974. But then in 2013, they made a custom tail at a Breyerfest live auction and was sculpted by Chris Hess. And sorry guys, not my favorite. I'm gonna put him in D tier. I think they could have did a lot better with this mold. I do like the 2013's version with the longer tail. I think it looks a lot better, my personal opinion. Okay, the Arabian Mare has multiple different versions. We have Just a Dream, Oasis, and the Make-A-Wish Foundation horse. And they were introduced back in 2009. I remember when Just a Dream came onto the scene, the Breyer scene, back in 2009, and everybody loved this model. I'm saying everyone loved this model, and it was by Kathleen Mooney too, by the way. And I do too. I just do. I think it's just a state of the times. At the time, this model really hit. And she has a lot of different colorways and variation on her. And just because there's so much variation, I'm putting this one on A tier because I think both variations of this model are very, very well thought out, and I like them a lot. Okay. The Aristocrat Champion Hackney Pony was introduced back in 1995 and was made by Kitty Cantel. And I honestly think that this mold is cute. I think there should be way more colorways on this horse. I think it's underrated and I really like this mold. I'm putting it on B tier. Ashley, the laying down foal, is beautiful when people do customs on this foal. I've seen customs on this foal with mares, and I just think that it's absolutely adorable. So I'm gonna put her pretty high just because of that. She was introduced in 1997, and she was sculpted by Kathleen Mooney, of course. And yeah, there's just so many colorways on this mold. I really love the sorrel chestnut color on this foal. Beautiful. It also has a unicorn variation as well, and it also comes with multiple different play sets, which I think is cool as well. Usually is part of a set. So I'm gonna put her in B tier. The next horse that we have is Ashquar, and Ashquar is a Arabian model that was part of the Premier collection, was sculpted by Bridget Epperl, and he was a 2013 collection model. So I think this horse is a hit or miss. It depends on the coloring, it depends on the markings. I like the action of this horse. The posing is nice. The coloring can be great. But at the same time, it's a hit or a miss. Ashquar was a 753 made Premier collection model. He was a dappled red chestnut. And yeah, he was all right. He has this certificate of authenticity with him as well. So he was also the Spectre Halloween horse back in 2023. So I think I'm gonna put him C tier. Like I said, it depends on the model, depends on the coloring. For me, I don't always know how I feel about it. Now we have the Australian stock horse, or Dundee as we like to call her. She was a 2019 Breyer Fest prize model. No, that doesn't sound right. She was part of the 2018 Premier Collection, sorry. So she was a Premier Collection, but she was a celebration model with the Athenian Lady this year for 2024. That's what I was trying to say. I'm all over the place. Yes, she was a Dundee, was part of the 2018 Premier Collection, and was this nice pinto coloring. She has multiple different colorways on her, everywhere from chestnut to a surprise horse that was part of the 2021 Breyer Fest special runs. She, she's pretty. I like the coloring that they have for this horse, and I do like the action of the stock horse. I'm gonna give it B tier. Okay, sounds right. This mold, oh my god. The Balking Mule was introduced in 1968 and was sculpted by Chris Hess. Guys, no. I know that this was kind of a popular model at one point for the vintage collectors, but for me, it was introduced in 1968, but in 1970 they added the USA stamp, and I don't want to be rude to this one, but I'm gonna put it in E tier. Sorry, I don't like the hindquarters. The hindquarters just don't look right to me. They look off. I like what he was trying to achieve, but it just isn't hitting for me. Okay, so we have the Belgian mold. There's a lot of variation in the Palomino on this one, but the mold just doesn't look like a Belgian to me, guys. It's fat, and that's about it. It was introduced in 1964, and then in 1979 they added the USA stamp. It was sculpted by Chris Hess. Really not trying to hate on Chris Hess here, guys. It's just not hitting for me. I'll put him in D tier, not E tier. Okay, Big Ben. Big Ben. I love Big Ben. Big Ben was sculpted by Kathleen Moody again. I think we're seeing a theme here. And he was introduced in 1996. Big Ben was a red chestnut with a star on his face. And he was also the Halloween horse back in 2004, known as Cryptic, the Halloween horse series. I really want to get my hands on Cryptic. I think that it's so pretty. I love this mold, even though it's an older mold. I think this one hits for me, so we're gonna put him in A tier. Really, I think that this is a cute little mold. They also have a lot of different colorways on it. I just don't own it in my collection. Again, if I had a pony room, I would be able to have all of these horses, but I just don't have the space. So, Black Beauty. Black Beauty was introduced back in 1979. And I don't like this mold, sorry. Sculpted by Chris Hess. And it's not that I hate Chris Hess's sculpting, it's just the anatomy, the tail, the silhouette is nice, but it's not anatomically correct. I'm gonna put it in E tier. I really don't like this mold, guys, I'm gonna be honest. And yes, there is a lot of colorways on here, and if it's painted right, it can look a lot better. There was even a unicorn version of it made as well, so if you collect unicorns, they do have it on this one. The Black Stallion. Black Stallion was introduced back in 1981 and was sculpted by, you guessed it, Chris Hess. I'm gonna say that this horse is C tier. I don't have much of an opinion on it. Not bad, not good, just neutral. Okay. Bluegrass Bandit. I literally bought a Bluegrass Bandit today, guys. Everyone feel happy for me. I'm so excited. Yes, so I bought an original Bluegrass Bandit today, and she is signed, and I'm very happy about it. Anyway, just thought you should know that. I love this mold. I know I've talked about it in length before, but I love this mold. And of course, she was introduced back in 2008 by Kathleen Moody. I love Kathleen Moody. She makes the most amazing horses. So S tier for me. Love this horse. Yes. Bolea. Bolea was introduced back in 1992. And she was sculpted by Chris Hess. Sorry, something's wrong with my throat, guys. I don't know what's going on. Anyway. I don't have an opinion on this horse. C tier. I'm just looking at it and I'm like, just nothing here. Just don't have an opinion on it. Boomerang was sculpted by Sue Kern and was introduced back in 2017 as part of Breyers' Running Free collection. Spirit's Running Free collection. Guys, you'd be mad at me, but I don't like the new Spirit. Sorry. D tier. Hot take. Bouncer. I really love this mold. It's a cute little Welsh pony mold and was introduced back in 2007. And it has a lot of different colorways on it. The most recent is the Hope 2022 benefit model. But yeah, I just think that it's cute. His little mane and tail are really pretty, and Pink Magnum is on this model. I have Pink Magnum. It doesn't take a lot of space up in my room. It's kind of a cute little model just to have on your nightstand. 10 out of 10. Would recommend. S tier. Bridie is a donkey and was sculpted by Chris Hess and was introduced in 1974. Now, Chris Hess, look, this is what we want, okay? I like Bridie. Bridie is a cute mold, and I do think he does a lot better with other animals versus horses. And he has sculpted other horses, and they even continued this donkey mold into more modern eras. So yeah, I'll give this one a B tier. Cute, like it. Bristol Bristol was introduced back in 2018 as part of the Premier Collection, was sculpted by Morgan Kilbourne. Now, I really like Bristol. Bristol is a really, really beautiful horse, and the mold, the jumping mold, is everything for me. I love this horse. I think that it is A-tier material. It would be S-tier only if they had more colors. I don't think that they have enough like original finish horses other than Get Rowdy and Voyeur. Those two are, and Cluny 51. Get Rowdy and Cluny 51 just look the same to me. I'm gonna be honest, the shading's a little bit different, but other than that, they're two white horses that are jumping on the same mold. Come on, Breyer, give us more variation. I need more. So that's the only reason it's in A tier for me. Brown Sunshine. Brown Sunshine was a mule introduced in 1996 by Bonnie Shields. Cute little mold, cute little mule mold, was part of the 2024 special run line this year. Or not special, a limited edition line, my bad. Yeah, I mean, it's a mule, and it's cute. I don't collect mules, but I will put it in C tier just because I don't have much of an opinion on this mold. Buckshot. Buckshot was sculpted by Bob Shiver back in 1985. I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna put this in D tier. Sorry, I just something about those tails that just stick right out that make me feel weird. I don't know. All right, the next horse we have is the Cantering Mustang Mare, which is brand new. It's part of the 2024 Premier Collection, also known as Tiger Lily by Raven Maddock, and I'm gonna give her S tier. Now, this is a horse that is sculpted very, very well, has beautiful coloring, is definitely a premier level horse. It's just been introduced, so yes, S tier for me. Cantering Warm Blood. The Cantering Warm Blood also has Catch Me, Miss Independent, and Danish Northern Tempest as the Breyers celebration model. It was released back in 2017, back as Breyers Premier Collection. It was sculpted by Morgan Kilbourne. Again, really, really pretty model. I like this model. I think that the mold is very unique. That the cantering movement is conveyed very nicely. They don't have a lot of different variation though, so I'm gonna put it in A tier. A lot of these were part of Breyer Fest, but as far as regular run models, all we have is Catch Me, and I feel like we need more variation. We have the Holiday Horse, but again, that's part of a collection. I want a regular OF run with more variation here, Breyer. Other than that, very beautiful horse. Yes. Cantering Welsh Cob, brand new horse, was part of the Premier Collection for this year and was sculpted by Eva Rosetier, and I think he's cute. Llewellyn, I think his name is Llewellyn. And You're So Vain was also the live auction model for this year's Breyer Fest. I've seen this horse in person, like the live auction model. Sorry, not Llewellyn. The live auction model was really cool, and I like that it almost had like a fiery look to it. I'm gonna say the mold itself is really unique. They have a Welsh cob in a running pose, which is not done by Breyer often. Putting it in A tier just because they don't have any original finishes out yet, and it's just hard to put it in S tier for me, but I would put it in A tier. Cantering Welsh Pony. This one was introduced back in 1971. It was sculpted by Chris Hess. A better work by Chris Hess, again, doesn't hit for me that much, but I will put it in C tier. I do think that it has a lot of variation for it. If it's painted correctly, it looks really pretty. They also brought it back as a part of the Vintage Club, which is pretty cool. And yeah, I've seen a few customs on this horse, and it could be a cute little pony to sculpt with or to paint. And I think that it's all right, actually. I don't have a problem with it. Cigar was a 1998 portrait model of the famous racehorse Cigar, and was sculpted by Susan Cartland Tofton. And yeah, he's a thoroughbred, racing thoroughbred. The only issue I have with this mold is when you go to put it on a shelf, you have to have really, really long shelving boards in order for this horse to be displayed correctly. I mean, unless you do it long ways like that, he takes up a lot of space. Other than that, I think that this is a pretty good racing model. I played with this horse a lot as a kid. I have Sato, and I have California Chrome, and who else do I have? I think I have another horse on this. Can't think of who else I have. When I do a collection tour, I'll go over it. But yeah, it's a good mold, but I'm gonna put it in B tier just because it takes up so much space, and I can't do that, especially with the way that my shelving is set up right now. That is one of the biggest issues I have with this horse. The Cleveland Bay mold, immediately S tier for me. This might actually be my favorite mold, or one of my favorite molds. So the Cleveland Bay mold was sculpted by Karen Geralt and was introduced back in 2006. And this mold has a chokehold on me. I don't know why. He's chunky. He's got the perfect cantering mold. I've seen so many customs on this mold. I've seen so many variations on this horse. I think he's amazing. He is chunky though, and he does take up a lot of space. But S tier for me. One of my favorite horses. Yes. Clydesdale foal. Okay, the Clydesdale foal is really cute to me, and I don't have him in my collection. And I really like draft horses, and I think he needs to be in my collection. I'm going to put him in B tier. I think he's cute. We have the Clydesdale mare as well. Oh, by the way, they were introduced in 1969 by Chris Hess. So yeah, this is one of my favorite sets by Chris Hess, and I think that they're cute together. So, all right, so we have the Clydesdale Stallion back, and he has two different variations. He has the almost no muscle definition, and then he also has the muscle definition. Mold. So He was sculpted by Chris Hess. Better. There is a lot of variation on this horse. Good to see. We like to see it. And a lot of original finishes came out as well. So I'm going to put this one in B tier along with the other Clydesdales. The Connemara Mare was released in 2014 as part of the Premier Collections by Sarah Mickey Wigis. Anyway, this horse is a hit or miss for me. I liked the Decorator Spice Drop models. I think that they're cute. They have different blue, green, or red, and they have the filigree on them, which I think are really cute. I also liked the live auction model back in 2019, the rainbow horse, but there isn't a lot of OF finishes on this horse, and also I don't really vibe with the mold all that well, believe it or not. I'm gonna put this in C tier just because I don't really have much of an opinion on it, but yeah. Next we have the Carrillo Stallion mold, which is brand new again, part of the 2024 Premier Collection. This one, not vibing with the roached mane. I know it's part of the horse's standard, but still just C tier for me, not much. Desperado was part of the 2012 Premier Collection, was sculpted by Christina Lucas Francis, and yeah, I almost feel like this is a knockoff variation of Alborozo in my opinion, but still a lot of variation on this horse. And Picasso is the regular run model that was on this mold. I think that he is C tier for me. I don't have much of an opinion on him, believe it or not. Then we have the donkey, sculpted by Chris Hess, just a regular old donkey. There's issues with this mold. I'm putting it E tier again. El Pastor, I think that this is a cute little horse sculpted by Chris Hess, and I do like this one. 1974 was the release date, and it has a lot of variation in it. You like to see it. Lots of different colorways. The actual horse itself has a good sculpt, so I'm gonna put it in a little bit higher than C tier. I'll put it in B tier. Yeah, I like him. Esprit, oh my goodness, everyone knows I love Esprit. Of course, the 2010 World Equestrians Games Special was designed specifically for the event by Kathleen Moody, and I actually conquer this mold. I love this mold, and if I could get my hands on a Faded Love, I think I would die a happy woman. Just absolutely gorgeous mold for me. I know that there's anatomical issues with it, but even then, there was enough variation for me to get an OF finish of this horse, and there is quite a few different colorways on this horse. S tier. S tier for Esprit. Kathleen Kathleen Moody sculpted this horse back in 2006. The ethereal mold was part of the Connoisseur series originally, and basically they had earth, fire, wind, and water, and I love the limited edition models on this mold. Yeah, so I have the Grula original finished model, the Grullo Pinto, back in 2015. I think that this is a cute model, but I think Kathleen Moody has made better models, so I'm gonna put it in B tier. The family of Moravian foal was introduced back in 1961 and was sculpted by Chris Hess. There's so many issues with this horse. I'm gonna put it in D tier, along with its rest of its family, which were also introduced in 1961 by Chris Hess. The Arabian family stallion, though, was introduced in 1958, and the Arabian mare was introduced in 1961. So now you know. Okay. We have the Fell Pony that was released back in 2015 by Kathleen Moody. I think this is an adorable little sculpt. And I have a little custom on this horse. I think that it is a really cute mold, and I like the colorways. They need more variation. Right now all we have is the Royal Fell Pony, which is part of the Fell Pony Society and Girl Guides, available in the UK. But yeah, that went away. Okay. I'm gonna put her in C tier, because I think that we need more variation on it. Fighting Stallion. Fighting Stallion was introduced in 1961 and was sculpted by Chris Hess. I actually like this one. Not by much, but I do like this one. There's a lot of variation on it. There's a lot of different colorways. You are able to pretty much get anything you want with this horse. You can sculpt it, play with it, you can collect it. There's a lot of conga variations for this horse. I mean, I feel like I'm just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. There's so many variations on this horse, and it's kind of a staple in Breyer history. So I think that just because of that, we'll give him B tier status. Next we have the 5 Gator, the saddlebred stallion that was introduced in 1961. Again, sculpted by Chris Hess. There's a lot of different variation on this horse as well. You can get pretty much anything you want with this horse as well, and I think it encapsulates the saddlebred stallion quite well. However, don't like the tail. I don't like the tail. But I do have this mold, and I do think that they have a lot of variation on it, so I will put it in C tier instead of B tier. Next we have the Fioid, and the Fioid, also known as Henry, was introduced in 1996 by Kitty Cantel, and I think it's a cute little Fioid. Not much of an opinion on it, quite again, C. Flash mold was introduced in 2004 as part of a portrait model of the Morgan Gilding Flash, and was sculpted by Susan Cartland Sifton. I think that this is a cute little pony mold, and it doesn't take up a lot of space. There's a lot of variation on it, and also the colorways are really cool for this horse. I especially like the 2018 live auction horse that had the nice piebald face with the different tail. I think that that was really interesting take, and I think that that was a really pretty model. But even so, I like the normal tail, and I think that this horse gets a tier for me. I think it has a lot of variation. It has a very good movement, and it also doesn't take up a lot of space. So we like that. The Foundation Stallion was introduced in 1977, sculpted by Chris Hess. E tier for me, guys. Come on. No. I don't know what it is. I just don't like it. Alright, the Frisian was introduced in 1992. If you know me, you know that Frisians are one of my favorite breeds of horses, if not my favorite breed of horse. And unfortunately, I feel that Breyer hasn't really made it known that the Frisian is a Frisian, and the colorways that they have are, I mean, I guess you could get a variation of different breeds on this mold, but personally, I like the plain black Frisian that was introduced in 1992 and was sculpted by Jenny Melvin Herrick, and I think that she did a very good job. This is a cute little mold for a vintage horse. I'm going to put it at B tier level. Then we have the most recent version of a Frisian. Again, I don't understand why they didn't just make a plain black horse on this mold. You guys are missing it. It's a Frisian sport horse. Why don't you just make a normal black Frisian? This is a really nice mold, and I really like it. But again, plain black Frisian, please. That is the coloring that I would like to see on this horse. But other than that, I really do like this mold. I'm going to put it as B tier. Alright, the next horse we have is the Fury Prancer. No, I don't like it. I don't like it, guys. I'm sorry. I don't. It has the reins in it. It has saddle, and I get what they were trying to go for, but it just looks like a toy. It doesn't look like a model. It looks like it was originally a part of a lamp, which is true. This horse was part of the lamp, and it was introduced back in 1955 and was part of the 1950 television series Fury, and was also part of a lamp series that Breyer had at one point, and was sculpted by Chris Hess. Chris, you've done better work. E tier. All right. Galiciano. Galiciano was sculpted back in 1978 and was introduced and was sculpted by Chris Hess. He has a lot of variation on him. Good little standing pony. Not a lot of complaints on this one. I'll give him a D tier just because I'm not thrilled by it, but also it isn't horrible. The gaming stock horse was introduced back in 2014 as part of the Breyers Premier Collection, was sculpted by Morgan Kilborn. Oh man, I have really bad chest burn. Alright. The gaming stock horse was also known as Wyatt. I think that it is a cute little model. I like the action pose of it. They also had the Wild Animal series on this horse as well. And yeah, I think he's cute. He has an authenticity, certificate of authenticity with him. And he was only 741 of him were made originally back in 2014. So yeah, that's the Premier Collection horse, and I'm gonna put Wyatt in between B or C. I'll put him in B tier. I think he's B tier material. Jim Twist. I love Jim Twist. I think this is a cute little sport pony mold, and it was introduced back in 1993 as part of the Olympic World Champion show jumper Jim Twist. And they have braids that were replaced at one point. I think that this horse is just really cute. They have a lot of variation on him, lots of different colorways. And I also really like the fox hunting gift set where they had like the clipping pattern on him. I think that was really, really cute. And yeah, I think this horse deserves A tier. Of course, it was sculpted by Kathleen Moody. George is a cute little horse sculpted by Bridget Arbrell. I have Legend. I love him. I love this mold too. It's a cute little chunky drafter mold, and I definitely see that this horse is a lot better drafter than the older models, but they also made a vintage club with this horse's mold, which I think is really cool. So yeah, I think this horse deserves an A tier for me. Really love this horse. Think that it's a great sculpt. Also, there's really, really nice coloring on the Premier Collection that was introduced back in 2019. George, as a Premier Collection horse, has amazing dappling and is just the cutest little boy. I love it. We have the German riding pony. Back in 2022, he was first introduced and was sculpted by Bridget Arbrell. Also, he is part of the web special for 2022 and has all of these metallic-y colors to him. The only horse that we have available at the moment for the original finish of this model is the Ideal Pony of America's horse, and he was part of the Breyer Fest celebration model back in 2022, but all we have right now is a Appaloosa on him, and I think we need more variation. C tier. Geronimo is cute. He was first released as the Premier Collection back in 2016, and I think that this model is cute for paint horses. He definitely has the build of a paint horse or an Appaloosa, and I will give him C tier just because I don't have a lot of opinion on this horse, just because it's a normal standing mold, but I think it's cute. I don't have a problem with it. Alright, we have Glenn. He was introduced as the Connoisseur Series back in 2009. Most famously known for Heartbreaker from Gigi Valentine and Heartbreaker set. But he was introduced in 2009 originally. I think this is a cute little foal. Not much opinion on him though. I like the little trot that he has. It's cute. Put him in B. Giselle, I really love this mare mold. I think this is one of the best mare molds that we have. Bridget Burrell made this horse back in 2008. Also part of the Connoisseur series as well. And only 1,200 of them were made as BreyerFest 2010 special runs. The Connoisseur series only had 350 of them made, so they were also porcelain. So I think that this horse is really cute. I give her A series. Next we have Goffet. I really like this horse. Again, perfect Frisian mold. They also had Crystalline made in 2020. Only 4,000 of them made, and I have one of them. She's beautiful. I love the teal color. And also they have all kinds of different colors on this horse, but really good Frisian model. I also have the Alcote, Gutzen Van Tixel. Sorry, not Alcote, I don't know what I'm saying. I have Gutzen Van Tixel, which was the 2014 celebration model that I had. He was sculpted by Kathleen Moody. He was introduced in 2006, and yeah, Champion Frisian, beautiful horse. Love it. A tier. Okay, now we have the grazing foal. The grazing foal is cute, and I like the grazing foal and mare together. They also had a lamp made together, also sculpted by Chris Hess, introduced in 1965. I'm going to give him and his mom a place in B territory. Cute. They go together quite well. I like that. Okay, now we have the Gibson Vanner mold. So we have Thriller that was part of the 2021 Halloween horse, and he was introduced back in 2012 as part of the Breyers Premier Collection and was sculpted by Kathleen Moody. I don't know how I feel about these ones. I think Kathleen Moody has made a lot better horses, and I'm gonna put them in C tier because I don't really have much of an opinion for them. Yeah. The Halflinger, sculpted by Chris Hess, introduced back in 1979. Not sure how I feel about it. Definitely not sure how I feel about it. C tier. The Hanoverian. The Hanoverian was introduced back in 1980 with Chris Hess as the sculptor. Don't know how I feel about it, honestly. I'm gonna put it in C tier. A lot of different colorways on that horse, though. Then we have Huckleberry Bay, sculpted by Kathleen Moody. I think this might be the most famous horse of her career. Very, very beautiful horse. Many different colorways, different variations that you can buy. There was original finishes, there was specials, there was decorators. People love to custom this horse, and it's a very good collector's item. I think that this horse is worth the money. S tier for me. Love this horse. S tier model horse. I love the Huckleberry Bay mold. I have black tie affair, and I really want to conga this mold again if I have more room, and also getting your hands on this mold by itself is quite expensive. So it is kind of a investment if you want to conga that mold, just because it can get quite pricey, just because it was Kathleen Moody's most well-known sculpture, and rightfully so. It's gorgeous. The only problem I have with this mold is the fact that the peg, I know everyone talks about this, but the pegs really do sit in the horse's foot if they're played with. I don't really think that mold should be played with at all. It is most likely a collector's item and needs to be treated as one, in my opinion. Alright, now we have the Icelandic Pony. Was part of the Premier collection back in 2014 and was sculpted by Kathleen Moody. Very cute horse. Only 741 of them total. So I'm not even going to try and pronounce the name of the horse. But they are cute. And I like the mold. I don't have much of an opinion on it though. C tier. The Ideal American Quarter Horse. Lots of variation on this horse, but doesn't stand out to me that much. C tier. Sorry, D tier, not C tier. I'm giving it D tier. The Indian Pony. The Indian Pony is cute and was sculpted by Chris Hess in 1970. A lot of people love this horse. It was part of the vintage collection again, and I think this is one of Chris Hess's most famous works. People really like the Indian Pony. I myself think that it is worthy of a B tier. It's not terrible, and I actually quite like it, so B tier. The In-Between Mare. In-Between Mare was released back in 2020. They don't know what time it was released, sorry. It was re-released back in 2020 though, as part of the vintage collection. But yeah, it's not great. D tier. They also aren't sure, but they think that it's sculpted by Chris Hess. John Henry. John Henry was sculpted and sold back in 1988 and was sculpted by Janine Melvin Hedrick. Pretty horse. I like the walking stance. A lot of Breyers aren't in just like a normal walking, chilled out mold. I don't know. It's a cute little horse. I'll give him B tier. I just need to take a break. So I'm gonna make this in parts. So that was part 1. I hope you got a lot of information about all of these different horses and that you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please leave me a like and a subscribe. And I will get back to this video later next week, probably on Thursday again. So I hope that you enjoyed today's video, and I will see you later. Thanks for watching. Bye!